Hi, in this video we'll be doing something a lot more complex than my normal geometric stuff. Hopefully it won't take me all day, hopefully you won't get too bored watching me stumbling in the dark trying to find my way. This week's scope and challenge is spotlights and highlights, so we'll be doing something along those lines, something inspired by this animation, something using the colors here, and we're going to call it fight or flight. So, first step, we're going to turn this object into an array. So we're going to use object entries. Right, then we're going to get the length of this array, and then within a form wrapper we're going to have a loop. So for let I going from 0 all the way up to n, increment this and create our radio buttons. So we're going to have input type radio, and we're going to give them a name, the same name, such that only at most one is checked at the same time. And then for the ID we're going to need to interpolate and use that loop index. And also this ID value is going to be the value of the for attribute of the label. So for, okay, and as the text content we are going to interpolate and put the key value. So at index 0 we're going to have the key, at index 1 we're going to have the value. Okay, so we can take this and then right here in a style attribute we are going to pass the loop index to the CSS as a custom property, and we're also going to pass that color, which is the value. So it's going to be at index 1 because, as I said, the key is index 0, the value is index 1. And one tiny little thing, we're going to have a heading, highlight, I can't type. What else is new? Let's see the compiled HTML. Everything seems to be fine. We have the indices, we have the different colors. Okay. The IDs and the labels. Okay, that looks fine. Let's move on to the CSS and prettify some stuff. So if you've seen my previous videos, then you know I like to do something like this. On the body and on the wrapper, which happens to be the form element in this case, we are going to set display grid, right? And first things first, I want to bump up the font right there. So on the body we're going to have font. We're going to use a clamp value for font size. We're going to make the preferred value depend on the viewport, and the maximum value is going to be 2ems, let's say. We're going to set a line height and a font family. Let's see it. Okay, looks much better. One thing I want to do here, so yeah, as I said, I can't type. So something like that for the heading. And of course we're going to want to move those actual radio buttons out of sight. So input type radio, we are going to have position absolute, so it's going to look something like that. And let's use that color that we've passed from the CSS, and now you can see how they're different. Let's also set a background here. So we're not going to use black, but we're going to use the dark color from here, right? That one. So it's not quite black, but it's still very dark. And we have something super light here. Let's see that. Okay, kind of weird, but okay, whatever. Now the next step is we are going to set on the form grid template columns, and we're going to use repeat auto fit, and let's set a button width. So something like that. Okay, let's also set place content center. Let's also set a grid gap. I don't even know. Something like that. Let's also cursor pointer. Let's also set line height 5 right here. Let's also text line center, right? Okay, you can see the cursor right now. Text transform capitalize, something like that. Okay. Now, having done this, you can see right now. Okay, let's also set a radius. So let's say that here, and we're also going to use this value for the border radius, and we're also going to use it for a box shadow. So box shadow inset, no horizontal offset, and vertically we're going to have shadow vertical offset, a Y offset, and something like that, and it's going to be black but semi-transparent. So RGBA, something like that. Okay, you can see it there. And now for the checked value, we are going to want to change that offset. So checked, okay, so it's going to look kind of like that. Okay, let's also set a transition. So transition, you can see it now much better. Okay, so having done this, let's move on to something a bit more interesting. Let's say we're going to have a radial gradient and circle, and let's say it's going to be white, to transparent. So you can kind of see it right there. Let's say that we're going to have a selection radius, and so kind of like that. So the transparent is going to go up to the selection radius, right? And here, let's say that this white is going to be an RGBA value. And it's going to use that index, so 0.5 times something like that, I believe. And you can see how here it's more pale and there it's more pronounced. And also for the position, we are going to use a radius. Actually, let's just, we're not going to use it elsewhere, so let's just use a calc value. So it's just going to be not I, and here we're going to compute not I as being 1 minus I. Okay, times that selection radius, right, minus 1 pixel. So let's see it. Oh, yeah, I messed it up there. Okay, so you can see how that looks more interesting. Now let's also set background blend mode overlay, right? Looking much better now, you can see. Okay, and this circle is going to be positioned at X. Let's make it 0 initially, and so you can see how it's in that corner. But we're going to want this position, X, Y, we're going to want it to change with the mouse. So now we're going to switch a little bit to the JS. So we're going to have boxes, and here we are going to have query selector all, and we're using this because we want to turn this into an array. So basically query selector all gives us a node list, and we want to turn it into an array. Okay, and next we are going to map these boxes. So we're going to have the current item gets mapped to an object, but we need to put it between parentheses, because otherwise these are going to get mistaken for the function ones. So yeah. And we're also going to have a box which is going to be or maybe it's better to just have a function size, right? So here we are going to have boxes for each. So we're going to have, actually we're not going to need those, right? So it's just going to look like that. Okay, so having done this, we can just get rid of that part from there, and we can just call the size function right here, and we can collapse that part right there. And on resize, we are going to call that size function, right? Okay, and also we're going to have another listener. So on mouse move, and let's see what we do in this case. So right here again we're going to have boxes for each, right? So we're going to have, let's say that we have directions object, so it's going to be x. Along the x-axis we're going to have width, along the y-axis we're going to have height, right? So here we're going to have directions for each, right? And let's say we're going to have a position, and this one is going to be x is going to be so it's going to look like that. So here, directions, we are going to have, so for the element of each box object, right, we're going to have style set property, right, we're going to need to interpolate that, and that's going to be the direction, and the value is going to be a percentage value, right, which we're going to compute it right here. So it's going to be the direction value, so P of A, right, minus this difference over the width, so that's going to be of directions, right, so something like this, and we're going to multiply everything by 100. We're going to want to trim the number of decimals, so to fixed, so it's going to look kind of like that. Let's see it. Okay, it's not working, and it's because something's wrong. But what the hell is wrong? Yeah, right, it's not for each. Let's just right, that's correct, that's not an array. Completely correct. Let's see it. So you can see how, you know, we go from one to the other, and that's good, and that's the background right there. But one thing I don't like it right here. Let's just save and refresh, and I'm going to show you. So here, before we come here, right, we had that in the corner. Let me just refresh once more so you can see it. You can see that in the corner, so before. So we're going to need a different default for the CSS, and let's say that it's going to be something like that. So it's going to be way outside, and now when I enter, you can see how the beginning, it doesn't show any. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's save first. and let's then refresh. You can see how it doesn't show that circle anywhere there in the middle, in the center, in the middle, in the center, in the top. That's the left, right? Top left corner. Okay, let's fix a few more things when it comes to layout. Let's say that we're going to make this, actually let's make it min height, the full viewport height. Okay, not quite what I had in mind for a number of reasons. One, I didn't want the buttons to go all the way down there. Two, I didn't want that ugly scroll bar, which is caused by the margin. So if we zero the margin, that fixes the scroll bar. And for the other part, we're going to need a grid template rows, and we're going to have max content, and then the rest of the free space for the form. Okay, more like it. Okay, yeah, that's because there wasn't a resize, but I changed their position, right? That was why. So now there's still something wrong. Refresh. Okay, now it works fine. Good. Let's bring back that. Okay, so yeah, let's see it. Let's say that, let's make that a bit bigger. And what I wanted to show you, so like this, they're one on top of the other, but then if I make this bigger, that resize recomputes the bounding box. Okay, so then the highlight is properly in relation to the boundaries of each of the labels. So that's what I wanted to show you right here. Okay, and one thing, let's just get there. You can kind of see how it gets too close to the edges, and I don't like that. So let's put a padding here. I don't know. Actually, let's make it the same size as this. So something like that. Let's see it when we... You can see how, right? We have that padding, but now we have that scroll bar again, and it's because the padding gets added to this viewport height, to the full viewport height. So to fix that, to have it subtracted from it, we are going to have box sizing, border box. Right, so that does it. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, you can of course play with this more, but I won't. It's already getting too complicated for me. I'll be leaving it at this. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, if you like the work that I'm putting out since early 2012 and you want me to be able to do more in the future, please consider supporting it. You can do so by being a cool cat and becoming a patron on Patreon, or if monthly support is not your style, there's the option of a one-time donation, or you can get me something off my Amazon wishlist. The links are going to be in the description for everything, for the demo, or you could at least share this to show the world what can be done with CSS these days, because honestly, I think it's pretty damn cool. In any event, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!